What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at WILDMAN Lifts. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now on today's episode, I am having quite a messy morning. I keep forgetting to do things. I walk into a room, I don't know why I'm in the room, what I was planning to get, what I needed to bring back. And getting set up out here was an obstacle course because I couldn't remember what I needed. I kept changing ideas too about what I'm going to do for today's workout. I knew I wanted to do the back squat, but did I want to use a regular barbell? Was I going to use the SSB and go wide hands on it? I was just a mess. And I was really debating that back and forth, and also forgetting key components in order to set up my camera and my filming equipment correctly. So I don't know if this is any indication of how this workout's going to go. I might as well just pack up everything and try again tomorrow. But I am not going to do that. I'm going to get my head clear, get my head in the game, and I decided to settle with the SSB wide hand squat because coming up for the month of January and February, I'm going to be using very limited equipment at the gym that I have at work. So I might as well use what I got right now because I'm not going to be able to use it later. So that's kind of what I settled on, but I am also going to use the chains on this thing today because I rarely use this thing, and I want to make sure that for my first strength set that I'm actually hitting some decent weight. So let's pop into today's workout and I'll show you what I got going on. So the SSB actually won the debate today of whether or not I was going to do back squats with the barbell or with this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the wide hand squat. So I'm going to put my hands out wide on the SSB. I added those chains, which are about 50 pounds in weight. So I'm going to be losing about 50 pounds at the bottom of the lift. And as I go up, it gradually rises and gets a little bit harder, which throws a lot more effort into my upper back to have to fight that urge to go forward. Kind of the reason for the wide hands. And as I'm going up in weight, I'm also going to be doing some mountain climbers because this really works your abs. But I mainly use it to get my ankles loose because the back squat can be kind of stiff with the shoes I'm wearing. So that's why I like to do the mountain climbers. And I'm going to be doing the bike erg as well, just trying to get some lactic acid burned off, I guess, out of my leg, and to also isolate my knees a little bit, make my knee strength go up. That's going to be the strength giant set for the day. Now with the SSB, there's actually some handles that get screwed into the black ends of those things right there, which keeps your hands out in front of you, which makes the lift a lot easier at the bottom of the movement because you can press up on those handles, which moves a little bit further down your back. So you're able to pop up with more power out of the hole. But when you throw your hands out wide like this, it takes away that ability. So that bar wants to go forward on my neck. So I have to really make sure my upper back is strong in order to bring it back into position at the top of the lift. Now you might be asking, isn't that dangerous? Well, no, it's actually not dangerous. And the reason why is because A, I'm using correct technique. Technique is everything. But you can see that when I train strongman movements, such as circus dumbbell, lifting a stone to my shoulder, carrying a stone in front of me, you need a lot of upper back strength, and it kind of mimics the same movement as that is when I put my hands out wide on the SSB. So in this case, I'm actually able to overload the weight. So with the stone, for example, I'm limited on stone because it's awkward, it's wide, it's uneven and unbalanced. But with the SSB, it's perfectly balanced. So now I'm able to calibrate the weight perfectly and overload the movement. And then when I add the chains, that makes it a lot easier at the bottom of the movement because I'm trying to not use any knee sleeves at all. Because I feel like when I used knee sleeves, I was getting a lot of hip impingements, and I felt like that I was lacking in knee strength. So with the chains, I'm able to get into a really comfortable position at the bottom because all that weight drops off. And then as I move to the top, then I can really make sure that I'm using correct technique and my knee strength is not getting overwhelmed. I have been having knee problems ever since I used to do a lot of sports in high school. So this is just a great way to train my knees, and it's working because I'm getting back up to the weight that I used to get on the barbell without any knee sleeves, and that's kind of the point. But I'm still going to wear that belt because I don't want to burn out my lower back, because once you injure your lower back, it's over. You can't even go to the gym and lift easy weights. Sometimes you can't even get out of bed. You can't even fall asleep. You can't breathe. You can't hold your breath. Lower back pain is the worst. So I still will throw on a belt to make sure that I'm safe. So since I haven't done this in a while, I decided I was just going to work up to a 1 rep max until I started to move slow. Once it moved slow, that was going to be my top set for the day because I really didn't want to push it today, especially when I haven't lifted this in a very long time. I've mainly been practicing with the barbell because I want to get better at the barbell back squat. So this ended up being my top set because of how slow it moved. But that's okay because my max on this bar is 400 pounds without any chains. And this is 410 pounds total. And it moved really sticky in the middle, as you can see. If I wanted to get my head right, I probably could have done like 430 pounds, but that wasn't the point of today. The point of today was to kind of just to hit it, see where I'm at, making sure that I have good strength and good technique. Honestly, can't remember the last time I did SSB wide hands. So the fact that I was able to hit 410 pounds total today, that's good because I don't remember the last time I did this. And you usually need to train on this kind of implement for a while to get good at it. So this was a pretty good starting point for me for somebody who hasn't touched this in a while. And I almost had a terrifying moment. I nearly had a panic attack midway through that last lift because I felt something rip and I thought it was a muscle because I know what tendons and muscles sound like when they rip. But it only turned out to be the inner part of my pants. So I really love these pants and I'm attached to these sweatpants because they've been with me through so much. But it might be time to say goodbye to these now. I'm grateful that it was the pants and it wasn't anything inside of me. Now for the secondary lift, I don't really know. Again, I'm all over the place again. I think I'm just going to mess around with this because it's already out here and just kind of use it for the rest of the workout and just try to have fun with it. So let's see what I come up with now. So at first glance, you're probably going to think this is really silly or really dumb. And it probably was. But since the SSB was already out here, I just thought I'm going to do a rack pull from the bottom of that squat rack. And I'm just going to do 6 reps. And I kind of just wanted to work up to 400 and to see how that feels. But this is above the knee. So this is a really easy lift to do. But the problem I was having was once I get it off the rack, if I went too far back, it would fall flat to my feet. If I went too far forward, there's a large bolt that it would snag on. So then I would lose my range of motion. So this is kind of starting to become a little bit too silly for me. I kind of wanted to get a lot more out of this and I wasn't really getting what I wanted, but I've never really done this before. So I really wanted to see what this looked like. And they actually do this movement in strongman where it's above the knee. So I guess I am doing something with it. But I became curious of how much weight I could actually lift from this position since I've never done this before. So I loaded the bar up to 600 pounds. You can see I had to use bands at this point because the weights were not fitting at the end because they're all bumper plates. I don't have very many weights because I'm poor. I don't have that much money. And this actually moved pretty good. I shot it forward to make sure it didn't fall on my feet. And I probably could have done 700 pounds, but I don't have any more small weights. So that was the end of the road for me. And I just continued as I was going up in weight to do those mountain climbers and the bike erg as well. And I really wish I could do 700 pounds. Somebody donate me money so I can able to buy more smaller plates. Now for the assistance giant set, I was doing 3 rounds and I was starting from the squat rack and I would carry this thing about 15 meters and then turn around and walk it 15 meters back. And this isn't really that hard, except this turn right here. I call this the turn from hell or the devil's turn. I don't really know what you want to call it, but I call it all those things when I'm turning because that weight starts to get away from me as I'm turning. And the idea is with the SSB, since it has padding on it, it's a little bit easier to do a movement like this. With a barbell or with an axle like you've seen me do before, that devil's turn right there gets very difficult because that weight starts to get away and sway all over the place. In a straight line, it would be very easy. And I typically do that with a barbell or an axle bar because that's what they do in strongman competitions. But with this, sometimes you do a Conan's wheel and you got to be able to turn and move around, which makes it a lot harder. So that's why I like to train like that. And the SSB provides a great substitute for a Conan wheel. And I'm able to get that in without having to have some impressive, expensive implement that just sits outside and gets rained on all day. But as I was going up in weight on that, I was doing the bike erg still, except once I was done, I do about a minute on the bike erg. And then I would immediately move over and start doing some jump ropes because I wanted to make sure that I was kind of hitting my calf. I felt like my calves get neglected, but with the heavy weight on the SSB and the jump rope, then I'm making sure I'm getting really good calf workout. And for the assistance giant set, again, we got the SSB bar. That weighs about 60 pounds. So I was doing curls with it since I've never really done that before. But you can see as it goes up, I'm shooting it up as fast as I can. And then once it's up, I try to lower it down a lot more slowly. Just trying to make sure that I'm keeping that in a nice straight line and keeping it as strict as possible. And with that little SSB pad moving around like that, that actually wobbled a little bit, which actually stimulated my biceps a lot more. So I actually kind of like this to do at the very end of the workout since my biceps are tired from all the front carries I was doing with it earlier with a lot heavier weight. Then I immediately move into hitchhikers because you know me, I love hitchhikers or face pulls at the end of every workout to make sure my shoulders are healthy and no impingements. And then I was doing something called sissy squats. And these are very difficult to do. There's nothing sissy about them as the name suggests. You hang on to something and you try to make your body as vertical as possible. This really hits the quads, but what I like most about it is I feel it a lot in my knee strength. So again, that's what I'm trying to hit, my quads, and I'm trying to build my knee strength. And I think sissy squats are the perfect thing for that. And that was the total workout for the day. Alrighty, so that's going to conclude it for today's workout. And as you can see, I got a pretty decent workout just by having the safety squat bar, or an SSB for short. Really appreciate everybody stopping by, and I hope that we all learned something new and that you're motivated to go out there and work out. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.